Welcome in and welcome back, everybody, to Trust the Board. Ryan and I are back with you today, and we're going to play a little bit of Fix My Team. We have a wheel, as you can see on this screen, probably next to us, and we're going to pick a couple of teams that need fixing, a couple of teams that are picking either near the top of the NFL draft or have a pretty early pick, or they just have a lot of needs. They have a lot of holes to fill, teams that we think would be interesting to draft for. And we're going to run through a quick 7-round mock for a couple of different teams here, give you guys an idea of what we would do to fix these teams. But Ryan, how we feeling? How we doing?
Pretty good. Been a nice little break after our trip to the Senior Bowl. I live in Seattle, so of course things have been going crazy here the last week and a half or so. As the hometown team here won, unfortunately not our Steelers, but we will be in Valhalla again someday. But pretty good. Had a parade out here. It's been crazy times.
Yeah. I can't even imagine. I would love to one day attend a Super Bowl parade, ideally a Steelers Super Bowl parade. But I guess now is not the time to talk about the dream that is the Steelers one day being back in the Super Bowl and winning it.
They are not bad enough to be in this list of teams. That is true.
They are not bad enough. They didn't meet our criteria of teams that didn't make the playoffs. Obviously, that was a big criteria. Yeah. So obviously the Rams are in there, but the Falcons handed them a first-round pick for a guy who's never going to play football again. I assume you saw.
Crazy story.
Pierce Jr.
Crazy story. You heard whispers all last draft cycle about James Pierce and potential character issues. If what is in the police report is even half accurate, does not seem like a guy I would want to be letting around anybody in my family. But I don't want to speak too much on it just because legal cases, and there's a reason why everybody has their day in court. So we'll just listen to what they say there. But if you're the Falcons, man, what's sad too is they traded back up to get him, which was already widely roasted because trading up is where in their position was already just not optimal. And then to have him actually be the better of the two they drafted, that's only the Falcons.
Yeah. Not good.
Atlanta
only the
fans,
Falcons. Speaking of people having their day in court, I mean, first of all, James Pierce Jr. was not a bad player for them at all last season, but obviously the off-field stuff. Their day in court, Trinidad Chambliss, he had his day in court. He somehow, some way went from he got denied 3 different times by different judges. And all of a sudden, one judge says yes, and now he's able to play at Ole Miss. I'm not going to pretend like I know exactly how all these legal proceedings work for the NCAA and what waiver he's getting granted by this specific judge, but it looks like he's going to return to play at Ole Miss for another season. And my immediate takeaway is he didn't get a combine invite. He didn't go to the Senior Bowl. He probably could have gone. He probably would have been the third quarterback off the board after Mendoza and Simpson. I don't know, maybe. I think there's a shot, especially if you're actually committed to the cycle, but he did not commit to the draft cycle at all. Very clearly did not want to go to the NFL. Very clearly wanted to stay in college. And I guess best case scenario for him at this late date was always to go back to college because he forfeited all draft preparations. So good for Trinidad Chambliss. I got exactly what he wanted. I don't know that he's going to be some.
Maybe we'll see. There's going to be another injunction, I've heard. So who's to say? From my understanding, most of what's happened so far up until before today was the NCAA telling him no, and then he appealed again to the NCAA. I think this was, and I'm not a legal expert, so maybe I'm wrong here, but I do have to look at court documents a lot for my work and my day job. And he, to my knowledge, this was the first day in actual court. I already saw a photo on Twitter of someone a picture of him signing a football that someone alleged was given to this judge. So I also have heard allegations that judge went to Ole Miss. So we'll see how much this stands. I don't know how much of that is true. Again, these are all just social media rumors, so take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, I don't know. I have some hesitation that crowning him as the third quarterback. I've seen people even call him a first-round quarterback if he had declared. I think that's a little prisoner of the moment. Personally, he did not play even this full season. This was his first season after playing in JUCO and smaller programs. And don't get me wrong, that was an electric playoff run for the Rebels. But I don't know. He's an undersized guy. He doesn't seem like he seems best out of structure. I just have questions if that would have gone as highly as maybe college football fans who just enjoyed the playoffs would think. But who's to say? I think it's actually better for him to go back. We'll get a full year of him at college next year that we all get to see. And I'm kind of just out on short quarterbacks now, but keeping an open mind and maybe he proves us wrong.
Hey, maybe Trinidad Chambliss is able to break that cycle, but good for him. I guess he's going back to college. But the wheel has sat here long enough with all of these ads playing, and it's making my computer lag like hell. I'm going to hit spin, and we're going to see who we do. Our first 7-round mock draft on who we get to, pick and fix. Who's it going to be?
Ooh, the Bucs.
Interesting.
That's a fun one.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Ooh, I like the little music too. Do you want to do the second one if it's making your computer lag? So we just have our two teams?
Yeah. We'll do the second one right now.
We're not going to get the tunes on this one.
I think it was taking too much.
Yeah.
Oh, ooh. Please be the... Okay. Easy.
Okay. We at least got one pick down.
All right. Well,
okay.
We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then we get to pick Fernando Mendoza.
Draft the quarterback, draft an O-line, draft some defense. Which one do we want to start with the first overall pick?
Do we want to just get the Raiders out of the way? I feel like that one will be pretty easy.
I feel like they're the team that needs the most fixed.
And they're a lot of fun because they just got Kubiak as well.
They just got Kubiak. I mean, they're about to have some drama on Max Crosby's front as this offseason wears on.
So we don't have to do too much explaining.
We don't have to waste time on this one.
Fernando Mendoza, 1-1. It was a foregone conclusion before the college football playoffs even ended, before it was official that the Raiders had the number 1 overall pick.
Oh, man, I love how that landed. Although I will say,
wow.
What picks do they have? They have 36 and then 67?
36, 67, 102, 117, 134, 174.
Okay. I think there's a fun little game that we can play here because I think there's 2 quick little choose your own adventure paths we could take. 1, offensive line at all costs. Ooh, if that guy if that guy's sitting there, cool. I mean, you could go that way. To me, I think with the potential departure of Max Crosby and then obviously the O-line, to me, it's like you take an edge or you take a tackle here. And I would make an early argument and then I want to hear your thoughts. I would make an early argument to take best offensive lineman here. Maybe not even a tackle because I did see Emmanuel Pregnon still on the board. And if he's still there, they need interior help on the line as much as they need. Like they need pretty much every position on the line could be upgraded theoretically, other than maybe like I'm curious to see if they move Jackson Powers Johnson back to center or if they keep him at guard because that could maybe shake up how they do things. But either way, anyone on the offensive line or pick your favorite defensive end. I would argue that the edge class is so deep that you could wait.
I think that's fair.
Seeing Mesidor and Armason Thomas there.
Like Mesidor is interesting to me because he can play anything on the defensive line.
Older prospect.
Pregnon, I know that's the thing with him is like
I don't think
his perfect fit ideally is like someone who's ready to win now because he's like such a good plug and play.
Right.
So like I get what you're saying that I don't think he necessarily fits with the Raiders. I think
style wise he might in terms of just like team blueprint moving forward. He is a little old for a team that's pretty much starting at square zero.
I think it's got to be Pregnon or Anacor here.
Yeah. Man, that's a tough choice. I think if you want to hit the double and just get on base, hit the single, hit the double, you go Pregnon. If you're swinging for the fences, you take a Henacor.
His Fernando Mendoza's new head coach, he had this thing in Seattle. Everybody praises the Gray Zabel pick. He took a guard early. I feel like Pregnon's the guy. I think he's the best offensive lineman on the board. There's our choose your own adventure path. So look at that. We got a franchise quarterback and a great offensive line. Wow.
Pick 67. Interesting. I don't love this immediate list of players, but what if we pulled up edge real quick?
Neither. Let's see who's
Let's just see how
here.
the edge. Hey, there's Trinidad. You might have mentioned that there's Trinidad on going to Arizona.
Good pick, Arizona.
Ooh. So it kind of fell off on us. We got hit pretty hard here. Teams were going crazy on the edge play in the second round. That's kind of tough how that fell.
That does kind of suck for us.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Raiders. That's tough because I don't know if I like those top. I like those guys that I like there. I don't know if the third is exactly where I love them. Oof.
Wow.
What's the tackle situation? Offensive tackle situation at this point too. I'm sure that's been picked pretty hard too.
Great question.
Oof.
Senior Bowl legend Jennings Dunker on the board.
And then Markel Bell too. He also had he got man. That's an unfortunate for
We took the more sure thing with Pregnon. I guess Jennings Dunker would be kind of like the upside swing if you're the Raiders.
What's the interior now is I'm curious what the guards are because we took a guard. I'm curious to see who would have been there. Yeah, I think so. Hey, we're doing this on the fly. If I'm the Raiders now, this makes me wonder if you take the tackle swing in the first, or you take the. Yeah, I think you still got to take the offensive line. So I think if we could do a do-over, I would maybe switch that up. But given that's not the case, if they are going to keep Jackson Powers Johnson at guard,
hypothetically,
or if they think one of these centers can switch, Connor Lew's right there, but it kind of drops off on line.
Do we want to get Lou now and just say, hey, look, we have Powers Johnson at guard. We're going to pick Pregnon. So they're your guards set. Then we pick Lou. And look, we have a great interior offensive line, young interior offensive line. We're going to protect our young quarterback. We're going to get Ashton Genty an actual offensive line. I don't think that's a bad thought process.
I don't think it's a bad play. I don't think it's a bad play at all.
So I think we're going to go Connor Lou. We're going to double up on offensive line after picking the franchise quarterback. This is how teams should do it. More teams should think like this. Just spam offensive line, right? It's a great
you're
concept.
Gonna play him, right? And then if we go edge here, we got Sapp's interesting. You could take a roll on Markel Bell at tackle. Maybe he's more palatable here later in the third. They need corners. I feel like there's a couple corners here that are interesting picks. Like Will Lee the third could be interesting. Maybe if they want a nickel, they could go with your guy Muhammad. If they're looking at tackle, Brian Parker's sitting there. Austin Barber's
there, your guy.
Yo,
he might be there at 117 though. He might be there.
What pick are we right now? We're at
102.
We're 102, and he's got an ADP of 139. That's spoiler alert, folks. That's gonna rise as this process goes on. That's my guy. I would take him. If you're sitting there going, no, we should take Barber, we should take one of the other tackles. That to me, that makes sense too. I like Tyreek Sapp. I don't know that he fits. There's some. Yeah, to me, it's like pick your favorite of those three tackles, or take your favorite between Willie and my guy Igbinosun.
Let's go. I think we can grab Igbinosun 117. So do you want to go Bell and then grab Igbinosun?
Yeah, I don't see why. That's
if Igbinosun's not there.
Markel, huge.
I'm going to be really sorry.
As most tackles are, but he's pretty big even for tackles. I feel like
we're not going to think about it.
We're not going to think it. Turn it in.
Easy.
If you're the Raiders,
Steelers picked Cade Klubnik. Good Lord.
Jeez. If you're the Raiders, though, gotta be feeling pretty good. You just cleaned up your offensive line. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of growing pains, and will the Raiders actually just go this heavy on offensive line and give them all starts right away? I don't know. But you got your quarterback, you got an offensive line, you dipped outside a little bit for a corner, and now you're sitting here in the start of the end of the 4th round, and we got our guy from the Senior Bowl, Keyshawn Elliott there. You need a linebacker. That's an option. Scroll down a little more, and we got
Kevin Coleman Jr.
Kevin Coleman's fun to add to that wide receiver room that needs some speed. Aiden Fisher is also a good linebacker option.
Jacoby Lane. Ooh.
Jacoby Lane is still sitting here?
Mike Washington. Ooh, 3rd down back for Genti. I like Jacoby Lane.
Me seeing Jacoby Lane here is kind of mind-blowing at the idea that because I think he'd be gone in the 3rd, but if he's here, I do like Kilgore, but I feel like with them having wide receiver as a pretty big need still.
Yeah. We haven't addressed it yet either. I feel like
you've got so who do you have there? You've got Besh, and is there anybody else you really count on? Because like Thornton is not a guy that I think you're gonna like. I think there's room for him to get better, but he wasn't a guy I was high on. So if you're trying to infuse more talent into that room, Ted Hurst is still there.
Ted Hurst is fun if you're into him.
Josh Cameron was fun. I feel like they definitely still need that X type because it's like they've got Bowers on the inside. They've got Besh is really kind of he's more of a slot guy. He's kind of like he's a big slot, but he's kind of a slot guy.
Yeah.
And I don't think they have like a clear X receiver after trading away Jacoby. So you could replace one Jacoby with another Jacoby.
Why not? I like Jacoby Lane.
I'll do it.
We'll do it. And we get the Raiders wide receiver, and all of a sudden we're in round 5 with them. And this is a lot of fun. This is easy because teams like this.
But that's okay. They don't
so
need
many.
Ted Hurst is still there. We should have just waited for Ted Hurst.
We could.
But that's okay.
I mean, could double up.
See.
But let's see.
Let's check out the linebacker room because I feel like they need some linebacker help, and we've addressed everything else and defensive interior as well. Ooh, Bryce Betcher.
I feel like
I know that they would give that a bad grade, but he's not going at 205. He's going to go long before 205. So Betcher is like a good pick I think he's not going to be, like the best linebacker of this class, but considering how late we've gotten and him still on the board, he's like he's going to hit you singles and doubles. So I think that's good. Let's check the defensive interior. Oh,
Zane Durant. I like him.
There's some guys here that are still okay, but that with this ADP will still be there for us. So unless you've got a pivot that's not defensive tackle or linebacker.
There's nothing here that's really jumping out to me. I'll tell you that. I think it's got to be our guy Bryce Spector here. Yeah, take him 174.
Give him a good middle of the defense. They don't have Kyle Lewis. Where do they have Kyle Lewis in the ADP still? I wonder. Is he gone?
He's way up there. I bet he went in the 4th round. I don't know if
I would assume he got a pretty big bump, but you never know with. But Clark certainly
I've seen PFF mocks where he goes right after Jacob Rodriguez. Great pick by our Pittsburgh Steelers.
Way to go, Steelers. And at 99.
Phenomenal pick.
What a snag.
Kyle Lewis goes before
Seattle.
Oh, my God. That'd be so good.
I don't know about that one.
I would love that.
He could take over Drake Thomas, I guess.
I'd be all over that.
That would be fun. And then you could mix him and even Warrior around. That's fun. Tanner Koziel, best player on the board right now for the Raiders. They don't really need another tight end. They're pretty set there.
I like John Michael Gillenborg too. Desmond Reed. I don't know what you know about Desmond Reed. He is like maybe 5'9".
Yeah.
Not quite 200 pounds. He is interesting.
Actually, guy you just passed. We gave him an outside corner earlier. If you want to give him a nickel candidate here, not too bad for this late.
I think unless anything else jumps out to us, I think Canada is going to be our pick here.
Yeah, I think that's good.
I don't know. Yeah.
The other guy that I was seeing will definitely still be on the board for us on our next pick. So I would say
it's 3 picks down the board. So
it's only 3 picks. Okay. Well, shoot. Bishop Fitzgerald would be a fun safety. I don't know if they need safety. The guy I was seeing that I was liking was and he's going to be a ways down there, is Rashawn Benny as a defensive interior guy.
He's still on the board. Wow.
Caleb Douglas, another wide receiver. It's pretty good.
It's fun. I feel like we could go to defensive interior to find him. Yeah, 220 ADP. I like that. I think that's a good fit.
I think when we did that, we'll see.
Yeah. And then one more pick, 219. And
so they have like 40 picks, in between that last pick and now. And who's on the board for them? I feel
Cameron's
like we kind of get a luxury here because we kind of covered all their needs already.
Yeah.
So we can kind of just peruse and see if anybody catches our fancy.
Luke Altmaier.
Special teams, Vinny Anthony. Ooh,
Vinny Anthony.
You know who actually is jumping out to me here with the new changeover of offense and Brandon Kubiak. What about fullback from the Navy?
Yes, Eli Heinrich.
What
do you know about this guy?
Have that guy blocking for Genty, able to create a little bit as do some stuff outside. I feel like he could be molded into something.
I agree. I think he's a lot of fun. He could play wide receiver, running back, tight end, anything. Truly, literally anything. I think that's what's so fun about him in the 7th round.
So we did it. We're playing upside, kind of, as long as they also nail their free agents. We just fixed
the Raiders. If the Raiders did this, I mean, my goodness, I'm in on Clint Kubiak and the Las Vegas Raiders. We'll see what PFF gives us as far as a grade.
Oh, they'll give us like a C+.
Well, they're pissed that we didn't take Chris Bell over Pregnon.
Why would you take a guard over wide receiver? It's like the Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase, but even more drastic because it was in the 2nd round.
Top 52%. Overall draft grade B+. They didn't like our later picks. I disagree with the D-.
That's because when we get to the late picks, at least for me, what tends to happen is I go, you have completely undervalued said player that will not go this late when the real draft, and I'm just going to pick them now because this is where they're going to go. And they don't like when you don't agree with where they think guys are going to go, even though I would say their ADP in the back end of the draft is pretty slow to catch up because most fans aren't grinding it like this.
Yeah. All right. Well, we fixed the Raiders. Now it's time to fix the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is going to be a complete and total 180. This is.
Let's talk about the Bucs, because the Raiders, it was pretty much like they need everything, any help you can get, just get them good players. The Bucs are a team that was a little disappointing this season. They kind of got riddled with injuries yet again. But, at the same time, they were still competing it was pretty much a coin flip going into the last game of the season, whether it was going to be them or Carolina. Yeah. They ended up getting on the short end of that, but they're a team that's theoretically not that far away from at least being a playoff contender. True, they're in a really bad division, but.
Yeah, with the Buccaneers, here's my thing. I'm not a big fan of Baker Mayfield. Todd Bowles, I could take him or leave him, to be perfectly honest with you. But they're in a weird spot because they have Baker on this contract for, I believe it's 1 more year. And they have a lot of aging pieces. Mike Evans is a free agent this season. Chris Godwin, I don't really know what I'm getting with him anymore. And Emeka Egbuka was white hot for the first month and a half of the season. Then he kind of fell off. I still think he's a fun player. A lot of really
hammy injury,
interesting play. Yeah. Bucky Irving's fun. Sean Tucker, my guy. I like Sean Tucker, Syracuse legend. Shout out the Orange, represent. He's a lot of fun. I mean, Rashad White's gone.
Unless one of the running backs ahead of him is hurt. But he seems good every time he gets in, so it's a good problem to have if you're Tampa.
Yeah. So I don't really know what this is going to end up looking like with Tampa. I'm excited to see what the board looks like.
I know that the popular pick for several drafts now has been trying to replace Levante David, even though he's still with us, both in the world and the world of football.
He's alive. Levante David confirmed alive.
They keep trying to put this man to bed, and he's still playing. But we'll see how this draft shakes out.
All right, let's go. Entering the draft. And
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Who goes ahead?
7 picks.
Ravens get Caleb Banks.
Filthy.
Oh no, Jordan Tyson.
Okay.
Oh my God, Mekhi Lemon of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't think there's any way the Mansour Delane is still here at 15 in real life.
Oh yeah, this is a smash.
I feel like you would run that up if that was the case. No.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're like, it's either him or Fano, maybe. I mean,
I think it's gotta be Delane,
but Mansour Delane here. We could always just play this as if that's just a clerical error.
What the hell? What did Tennessee do it for?
What was the randomness setting? Did you have the positional value up high?
I don't think so. This is just the default settings on PFF.
I mean, honestly, the Jeremiah Love to Tennessee is puzzling me. I guess that there's a world where he goes in the top 10 potentially, but going to that team specifically is odd. But hey,
let's just pretend that Jeremiah Love went to like the Saints or the Chiefs, and we just swapped them.
And like one of these wide receivers that went top 10 fell out.
Yeah,
and Tampa's not necessarily going there first anyway.
Mekhi Lemon of the Chiefs. You cannot take Mekhi Lemon high enough in your dynasty drafts. I promise you. All right.
Do they have anybody there over 6 foot at that receiver? Just Rashee Rice?
I guess Noah Gray. Noah Gray's still there.
There you go.
All right. About Delane, right?
I would say Delane, but if we were playing that wasn't there, I think you look at that and you go, it's got to be Fano, right? Or if you have another tackle you like, or guard, you could feasibly take Ione there, and then I'm assuming Sonny Styles is already off the board in this sim.
Yes, he went, I believe, 6th.
Because Sonny Styles is another popular to Tampa pick I've seen. Makes a lot of sense. We were just talking about how they're trying to replace our man Levante, but
he's still with us though.
He's still with us, both in the NFL and in the mortal world.
Mansour Delane is going to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer in the mortal world.
Yeah, in this world, if he's on the board, I don't know how you don't run that up.
And all the way down to pick 46.
You need okay. Let's see here.
Zion Young.
We also want to do different players because theoretically the Raiders are getting some of these guys, right? So
yeah.
So if you need an edge and you land here and Zion Young's still there, what other edges are here just to make sure we're not?
Mellow height I saw, but I'll click on the edge. Over 10
I think if you're I think there's 3 guys here that I think are like the mold of what Tampa likes. And I feel like Young, Derek Moore, or Joshua Josephs would be an interesting pick here for them. To me, it's more between Young and Moore, but
I think Young would be my pick. I think that his ADP of 44 is a little bit wild. All the mock drafts I've been seeing this week, Zion Young's been going pretty late first round. I've seen very few mocks where he gets out of the first round. I feel like this is a guy that's going to rise. At 46 here, I mean, this feels like a home run, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's like he's ranked as the 46th player. He's fallen a couple spots from his ADP, so he obviously won't make it to the next pick. So, yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense.
All right.
Jake Galladay was there if they were looking for a linebacker, but this is a deep linebacking class, and I think they can wait.
Steelers take Jennings Dunker at 76.
I would hate it
so
much.
Our Buccaneers are back on the clock.
All right. You're the Bucks. So we've addressed corner. We've addressed edge. So
yes,
Michael Trigg here is interesting as a tight end. What's can you click on him and pull up his dimensions for folks just so they can get a look at him? He's like
first look, right? Yes.
6'4", 240. He's I feel like he's a pretty classic move tight end. Not necessarily much of a blocker, as his grade there also indicates. But, they've still got guys I think who can be their more designated blocking tight ends. He'd be a fun mover as an option if we went that route. Guard and linebacker are also positions we could consider here, maybe. Wide receiver, honestly. Oh my gosh. Jacob Rodriguez, just take Jacob Rodriguez. If Jacob Rodriguez is still here, take Jacob Rodriguez.
It's too easy at this point. I cannot fathom a world in which he goes in the third round. I just can't do it.
I could see him in the second round, but I don't think the third round is necessarily out of the question just on where they've gone in the past. But it's like we said before, it's a weird draft when there's not a lot of those premium positions flushed. So like he could go a lot higher. So we've got linebacker.
116 here. Linebacker, corner, edge, defense heavy.
So really just guard and tight end of the listed needs. I also think wide receiver is always
underrated
on the table because of the age of Mike Evans, if he'll even be back, not to mention Chris Godwin's health not being reliable. You've got a slot receiver in Jalen McMillan, and then you've got a BUCCA who I think can play a couple different positions. So maybe not the biggest need, but
they've also proven that they're willing to go out and get somebody like a BUCCA if they like him. Even when the public perception is, maybe it's not as big of a need as we think, because they went out and got that guy first round.
Because they've had injuries there, and then on top of it, when you've got Baker, who's I'm a little higher on him than you, but I also think he's a guy where it's like if you can just surround him with as much talent as possible, that's probably for the better. We already did Jacoby Lane in our one, so we're not going to give Jacoby Lane to somebody else. But man, what we get here?
Kevin Coleman, Ted Hurst, he could be there.
Ted Hurst is calling out to me a little bit. I like Kevin Coleman, but he's kind of, like I said, he's kind of probably more of a slot guy. And we've discovered that they've got two guys who are like pretty excellent slots when healthy. Three, if you consider McMillan on the rise. Obviously, Godwin was the other guy that's a good slot.
Do you like Josh Cuevas enough here to take it 116? I'm not. It's not what I'm like.
What are we at 116? Pull up tight ends because I think there's a guy I would consider here that has probably not been taken. Yeah, looking at this.
Wow.
I'm assuming our Stanford guy looks like he's gone, but I think that I think the guy Koziel from Houston could be a riser. Roush just went right before us. Okay.
Good pick, Denver.
Good pick, Denver.
I think Koziel's probably the Koziel. Yeah, I think I like him just as much as Cuevas.
We're in round 4.
Yeah.
So
we'll be able to get him next pick, I feel like.
Yeah. And so what are we doing at guard, maybe?
What are we dealing with at interior offensive line? Ooh,
pretty picked
Stevens.
through.
Pretty picked through, though.
I mean, I like Reed Adams a little bit. Stevens isn't the worst. He's not the best. Man, not
a great position to be in. Don't like the board here necessarily.
Yeah, I don't know what the guard market looks like on free agency. Maybe that's a thing where you address it. But yeah, if we're looking at just best players on the board, running back might also be on the table, considering that I'm pretty sure
not crazy to say that.
Huh?
Yeah, not crazy to say that.
I think Rashard. Yeah, I think he's on there, and so I wonder if our guy Mike is still there.
Katron Allen.
Or Katron. Yeah, Katron would be fun for them too.
I'm sure. Yeah, Washington's still on the board.
I would take Mike before Katron, but it's not a
Really?
big gap. It's not a big gap.
We'll take Mike Washington. Why not? And then we'll go out and we will hope that who are we going to take that we said that was there at 153? It's
Koziel.
slipping my mind. There we go, Koziel. I don't see anybody take him. I could be wrong.
I didn't see it, so Aiden Fisher would also be fun here, but Koziel, let's lock it in.
Yep.
Also, your guy from Wyoming would have been fun too.
John Michael would have been a lot of fun. I just saw Ted Hurst go. Ted Hurst made it to our pick, and a pretty decent. Look at that. Top player on the
maybe we
board.
should have waited for John Michael.
Maybe we should have gone Ted Hurst.
Maybe we should have
and taken John Michael, but it's all good.
That's okay.
So 2 picks left for the Tampa Bay
Let's
Buccaneers.
refresh what we picked so far as we make our last 2 picks.
Mansour Lane, Zion Young, Jacob Rodriguez, Mike Washington Jr., and Tanner Koziel at 153.
Ted Hurst would have been fun. But I'm not too broke. Caleb Douglas here is fun as well. I think he's not.
I like that.
He's not. There's a reason he's here in the 6th, but he's got size. He's played 3 different positions. He's got pretty good hands. I think he's a good choice here.
I think that's a good pick. Nobody else is jumping out to me. Vector's fun, but we already got a linebacker. I feel like it's got to be Douglas here.
If we get to round 7 and there's a linebacker we like, I don't think Tampa would be mad at doubling down there.
Yeah. All right, 229. The final pick of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Heinrich on the board. Taylon Green, developmental guy.
Taylon Black is also if he was here in the 7th, that would be a pretty big steal for just the round and the apparent talent level that I think he has. I don't think he's going to be on the cover of Madden anytime, but I do think he's a solid back that you can plug into a rotation and he can be a number 2. We already took our running back though, so I don't think that's what we would do here. Linebacker is
VJ Payne's still on the board.
Ooh, VJ Payne. That's just a really talented player on the board. Is probably going to be more talented than anybody else that's on here. If we're just taking best player available, to be honest.
If we are, now that the Buccaneers
I think
need
PFF
safety,
is drastically undervaluing him. This is a guy that even when everybody was still practicing and nobody had gone home yet, was constantly in the ones at the Senior Bowl. And I just think that he's a guy that's probably going to be valued higher by the NFL than by the mock draft community.
We already took a lot of defense, but feels like VJ Payne, man,
it feels like he's the best player. It's there's not a.
We're gonna take him.
There's just not a wide receiver or anybody else on offense.
PFF
to me,
not gonna like that pick we made. Not gonna like it.
Screw him.
Yep. Did not like Jacob Rodriguez. Wanted us to draft Michael.
They would have done Trig. That's funny.
Mansour Lane, obviously A+.
But we still got a B+. We did so good with our first 2 picks that they'll just give us a B+, even though we got B- or lower the rest of the way.
If we picked Michael Trigg, I guess they would have given us a 3rd A because they gave Rodriguez a B-, and they wanted us to take Trigg. So I don't know. Maybe we could have done better. Buccaneers fans, how did we do? Raiders fans, how did we do? Let us know.
For real, yeah. Get in our comments. Let us know. Like, subscribe, share us with your friends. I treat these PFF grades a little bit like I treat, after your fantasy draft, you usually get the grade generated if you use Yahoo or ESPN. They'll send you a little email that's here's how you did. And I'm always whenever I'm graded highly, I'm very concerned because that season is usually a season from hell. And when you get a really bad grade, tends to go out pretty well because usually, we're basing off of past information with those grades and not accounting for oversight.
Yeah. All right. So Trinidad Chambliss going back to school. Congratulations. Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been fixed. The Las Vegas Raiders have been picked. all in 40 minutes. Where do you get better content on the internet? Where do you get better draft preparations? Ryan, let's talk
Efficient.
about our draft profiles that we're doing for Behind the
Oh,
Steel Curtain that you guys can check out later in the week. I'm going to have mine done ideally Friday afternoon, hopefully going out Friday night or Saturday sometime. I'm going to be doing one of our guys, someone we've talked about a lot on this podcast, someone I've tweeted about a lot, Jacob Rodriguez, the Texas Tech linebacker. Been diving into his game more and more, someone who I'm obviously a very huge fan of, very excited to be able to write about him, talk about what I think he could be as a player, where he kind of fits in with the Steelers. That's like the lens we're going through all of this is, like, can he fit with the Steelers? How does this player help the Pittsburgh Steelers if they were able to select him? So that's who my profile is going to be on. Ryan, talk a little bit about yours.
yeah. And also, I just want to throw out there real quick. Even if you're not a Steelers fan, that is just one kind of section of the overall greater profiles that we're doing, where we focus on how he fits with the Steelers, but we also do a full breakdown of just kind of what their game is. We'll fill it with the information about their college careers, all that good stuff, height, weight, anything that we've got information on, we will be sharing it. So even if you're not a Steelers fan, you should come check it out because we're doing good work over there. For me, it's either going to come out Friday or Monday, depending on how quickly I can get the video I want cut up. I've already watched these games. It's now the tedious process of cutting up the video of what I want to highlight. But I'm going to be starting off the Pittsburgh Steelers, as you may have heard in our uh, social media, in our comment section, wherever you talk Steelers. They might need a wide receiver. Like maybe I've needed one for a while now. So I just made sense, I think, to start. And I wanted to start the process off. Joey and I've already talked on here. His guy is Mekhi Lemon. My guy is Jordan Tyson. And we're actually doing a little flippy. So I did a profile on Mekhi Lemon to try to kind of put myself in the lens of just like, who's Mekhi Lemon? And let's get that out of the way. I won't have as much positive bias. I don't really have a negative bias. I thought he was a lot of fun already. I but I might not be as high on him as Joey is, and vice versa, with him taking my guy Jordan Tyson, who is my wide receiver one with a clean bill of health. Again, that's the biggest asterisk, with a clean bill of health. Um, yeah, so I don't want to give away too much, but now that even NFL.com and those types of places are comparing him to Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think you kind of get the idea. He's a slot heavy guy that's kind of a volume uh, receiver. He can sort of be a mixture of like, how they say turn the running game into the passing game with short, quick passes and get yards after the catch. I think he kind of fits that mold as a guy that you can try to get him 5 to 10 touches a game. He's not necessarily the most athletic, but he's tougher than you expect. He fights through contact more than you expect for a guy of his size. Fun prospect. And yeah, you can read all about that on BehindSteelCurtain.com when it gets
Yeah,
up, either Friday or
great.
Monday.
Great exercise by us. Good job by us to pick each other's wide receiver ones and, get into the mind of each other. Think about, what we're thinking. That's what I love about draft content is like so many people have different opinions and just like slight variations of these guys because wide receiver class, who knows who's going to be first off the board? It's February and it's very much still up in the air. I'm interested to see if anybody separates themselves before the draft starts, but I would be so interested to see where a lot of these general managers and teams are looking towards as far as, what wide receivers, where they have them ranked. Obviously, Carnell Tate is in that mix too. Who's going to be the first receiver off the board? I don't know. It's interesting. Obviously, no one on this podcast has Carnell Tate as a wide receiver one, at least as of this very moment,
He's like
February 13th.
1C. He's
When we're
good.
recording this. Yeah, there's nobody that's really like the dedicated 1A, and that's what I love about draft content.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not a year where we're going to have a Malik Neighbors or a Marvin Harrison Jr. type where we're thinking, oh my God, this is like prototypical glad. These are all kind of guys that have uh, unique skill sets, if you will. They have a specific set of skills. And, they're going to really tell about which teams value them. And I think it's kind of going to be interesting because if you look at all the mock drafts kind of out there in the world, when they go is all over the place. There's people that
Oh, yeah.
have them. Some of them have them. One of these guys going in the top 5, the top 10. Other people have them not even going to the second half of the first. So it really feels right now like it's one of the more compelling sort of dominoes of this draft is who's not only who's going to be the first one, but when do they go, and does that then open the floodgates, and then we might see a bunch of wide receivers after that, or are we all going to just be seeing who takes receiver first?
Yeah.
It should be fun. And yeah, I'll also be starting my draft gem series next week on Behind the Steel Curtain. We're just kicking things off with wide receivers. We got a theme. We're hammering it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we'll be talking, day 2 and probably a lot of day 3 guys as well. So that should be fun.
All right, Ryan, this was a lot of fun as always. Thank you guys for watching and listening and supporting. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend. Did you like us saving your football team? If you're a Raiders fan, if you're a Buccaneers fan, do you like this series? What do you want us to do? What do you want us to talk about? Let us know in the comments down below, and we will always be down to talk some draft with you guys. Thank you guys for watching again, and we'll see you next time right here, same time, same place on Trust the Board.